In the dense woods of Black Hollow, Sarah set out on what she thought would be an exhilarating adventure. The morning sunlight filtered through the towering trees, and the air was filled with the chirping of distant birds. Armed with a map, a backpack, and a spirit for exploration, Sarah felt confident in tackling the well-marked trails. But as the day wore on, her curiosity got the better of her when she noticed a faint, overgrown path branching off from the main trail. It wasn't marked on her map, but something about its wild, untamed look drew her in. Perhaps it was the promise of discovering something new, something hidden. The path was narrow and winding, and soon, the familiar sounds of the forest faded, replaced by an oppressive silence. Hours slipped by, and the sun began its descent, casting long shadows that seemed to reach out and grab at her feet. Just as she was starting to consider turning back, she stumbled into a small clearing. In its center stood an abandoned campsite. The scene was bizarre. There were items scattered about as if someone had left in a hurry, yet the fire pit still smoldered faintly. A pot of stew bubbled weakly over the embers, its aroma unnervingly fresh. Sarah's unease deepened when she found a tattered journal lying against a fallen log. She hesitated but picked it up, flipping through its yellowed pages. The entries began innocuously, describing a hiker's trek through the same woods. But as she read further, the tone changed. The writer spoke of feeling watched, of seeing figures at the edge of their vision. The final entry sent a chill down her spine. Once you see them, they never let you leave. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, Sarah became acutely aware of the growing darkness. The woods around her seemed alive with subtle movements, branches snapping in the distance, faint whispers that carried on the breeze. Her heart pounded as she looked up, and there they were. At the edge of the clearing stood tall, gaunt shapes. Their glowing eyes pierced through the dark, and their hollow faces seemed to observe her every move without expression. Panic surged through Sarah, and she bolted, running blindly into the forest. The branches clawed at her clothes and skin as she stumbled through the darkness. She didn't care where she was going, she just needed to get away. But no matter how far or how fast she ran, the trail seemed to twist and loop back on itself. Every frantic sprint ended with her back in the same cursed clearing, the eerie figure still standing at its edge, closer each time. Desperate, she tried to light the fire anew, hoping it might keep them at bay. With trembling hands, she gathered sticks and scraps from her pack, frantically rubbing them together until the flames flickered back to life. The figures stopped advancing, retreating slightly, but their eyes never left her. The long, agonizing hours stretched into an eternity, her mind unraveling under the weight of fear. When dawn finally broke, the clearing was eerily quiet. The journal now lay open on the ground where Sarah had dropped it. A new entry appeared, written in an unfamiliar, jagged script. I will wait for the next hiker. The woods swallowed Sarah, her screams silenced, her presence erased. Black Hollow reclaimed its secret, waiting patiently for the next curious soul to venture off the trail.